Abs are the most sought after piece of a physique, and for a while I've been wondering why, and I've came to the conclusion it comes down to two main reasons. Number one is that it gives you that sporty, athletic look. Think of Cristiano Ronaldo, think of Brad Pitt in the Fight Club. And number two is that it's rare. Roughly 1 in 10 young lads have a six-pack, and that's just visible abs. And for that deep cut definition in the abs, that drops to roughly 3 to 5% of the population. And then for men over 35, I didn't believe this when I first read it, but it's roughly 1 in 25,000 men over 35 have a deep cut six-pack, which is mental. To illustrate my point, pause the video now and list off 5 lads that you know with a good six-pack. Like for me, I did this and it took me a minute to think of 5 lads I knew personally that had a six-pack. It's a statement piece that makes you stand out and fills you with confidence. It shows that you're disciplined, healthy and fit. And I'm pretty sure girls are impressed by it as well, but I haven't actually ran the studies on that one. So, how do you train them? Short answer, just like every other muscle group. Same reps, same sets, same rest. Tension throughout the movements, especially on the stretch, slow and controlled on the negatives, and an easy ability to add progressive overload. Whether it be more weight, more reps, improvement on form, or even more sets if you have the time. I've created a list of 5 exercises that guarantee growth on your abs. I've gave a list of 5 because doing the same exercise over and over again can become quite monotonous. So with that being said, let's jump right into number 1. Kick it off with my own variation of the cable crunch. You just face the other way basically. There's a few reasons why this is better than the traditional cable crunch. The first one being that this variation maintains a sufficient amount of tension throughout the full range of movement, especially on the stretch, where in a traditional cable crunch there isn't really any tension at this part of the movement. You can also crunch with heavier weights as a result of the foot placement adding more stability. And as for form, once you've pulled the weight down, position yourself far enough away from the pulley system that you can kick one leg back to brace against the pulley system. Both knees want to be on the ground in a lunge position. Once in position, crunch down, trying to get your chin to touch your knee, and try and keep it as slow and controlled on the way back up the movement. And once you get to the top of the movement, really allow your midsection to open up, and I even like to tilt my head back just to really emphasize the stretch. This one's a killer and one I'm pretty proud of coming up with because it took me a good few months to figure it out. Next up is GHD sit-ups, which is just the name of this machine. It isn't the most common machine in gyms, but if you are lucky enough to have one of these in your gym, then you should be making the most of it. Now, this is the number 1 exercise for getting a deep stretch on your abs. I can't think of anything that really comes close. It does come with the potential for lower back pain, however. You just need to be careful dropping into the stretch position. Form for this is quite easy. Everything is in just one plane of movement. All you need to worry about is keeping it slow and controlled on the negative. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. There's 3 levels of difficulty. Level 1 is arms across your chest. Level 2 is arms above your head. And level 3 is holding a plate or a dumbbell above your head. Holding the plate in towards your stomach won't actually make the exercise much harder as you're holding weight towards the pivot point, and it might actually hinder your ability to go into a full range of movement on the stretch position. Right, onto hanging leg raises. If done correctly, these on their own could blow up your abs. If you're someone when doing these and your body starts to swing back and forward, you can either do just knees up, so hanging knee raises, or you can put a bar behind your back, which will also stop you from swinging as much. You want to put the bar at about waist height. If you're someone whose grip gives out, you can also opt to use some straps. However, I would recommend finding a box or something for you to step onto so you can dismount and mount safely. Now, the actual function of your abs is to curve the spine, so your bum actually needs to come up with your legs and not stay straight. If your spine stays straight throughout the movement, it will mainly be your pelvic muscles in the top of your legs taking control of most of the exercise. Again, if this is something that you struggle to do without swinging back and forward too much, it is much better to just drop the ego and either stick a bar behind your back or just do hanging knee raises. It's also a good shout to do a drop set with either hanging leg raises. If you can get like 4 or 5 of them, drop it and do hanging knee raises. Definitely a good shout. Right, moving on to bench leg raises. I don't know what the official name is, but you know what I mean. This one is just a progression from the hanging leg raises if you're someone that can bang out 15 or 20 reps. All very similar form cues when it comes to this one, especially when it comes to elevating your ass and your hips off of the bench, just like with the hanging leg raise. You might have to get a bit creative with the cable accessory and how you're managing to get it connected to your legs so you can actually perform the exercise. This is without a doubt the hardest exercise on the list. I myself can only do reps with 6 kilograms. It's a fucking killer, to be honest. Just remember to exhale when bringing the legs up and inhale when lowering the legs down. That's about it really. And finally, last but not least, the ab rollout. These are a very good functional ab exercise that are also very good at getting your abs to pop. Before jumping into form, I will mention that the only downside to this is if you do have a very strong core already, it is quite hard to progressively overload it. You're just going to have to keep doing more reps. I'm still yet to find a creative way to make it harder, to be honest with you. However, it is still a killer exercise up until the point that you're banging out 30 reps. At the bottom of the exercise, you really want to open up your midsection and get a good deep stretch. The way to do this is by pushing your arms out as far as possible and lowering your head and your stomach towards the floor as far as you can without actually touching the floor. And then on the way back up, you want to be rolling your shoulders forward, arching your upper back with the intent of emulating a crunch almost at the very top. Again, really slow and controlled on the negative and nice and controlled breathing throughout to really help engage that core. So that's it for the 5 exercises. One thing I should clarify before the end of this video is the 3 metrics I actually use to measure the quality of an exercise. It comes down to 3 variables. Number 1 is comfortability. Number 2 is tension on the stretch part of the movement. Number 3 is how easy it is to add progressive overload. All 5 of these exercises tick at least 2, if not 3 of these boxes, which is quite rare for the melee of ab exercises that you see online. Now all there is for you to do is take action, pick 2 of these exercises and trial them for 2 weeks, and then sub the other ones in. Make sure you give them all a good go mind before potentially sacking them off. Form won't be perfect instantly, just as with any other exercise. So if you can't feel a good stretch or burn straight away, it's probably just something you need to touch up with your form. Feel free to DM me any questions about any of them, or even send me a video of you doing the exercise and I'll be able to give you a few pointers and see where you may be going wrong with it. I also highly recommend you keep training these exercises, even if you're on a bulk or holding a bit of excess chub. Because when you do get your nutrition down, the end result will be so much more impressive and you'll be much more happy with the result than if you just start when you notice yourself getting a bit leaner. But yeah, best of luck with it and let me know how you get on with it. Cheers.